What's goody? This morning, I'm about to try some overnight oats. Now, this is new to me. Never had this before. But what I'll be doing is making some. Well, I've already made it, but what I'll be having is some cheesecake protein overnight oats. Now let's take a look. So here we have the final product. But before I show you that, this is the protein I use. In my opinion, this is the best tasting protein powder, but you can use your favorite. Now, I heard some people say that using whey protein is a lot thinner than casein protein. So casein will be thicker if you want a thicker texture. So let's see what we got. Boom, this gives a better lighting in here. And essentially all it is oats, some low-fat milk, sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix, and just let it sit overnight. Now, some people, they'll get a little more creative with the ingredients, and they may add something like honey, maybe agave, maple syrup, even fruit. I've seen some people add cinnamon. So there's a lot of creative ways you can get with this, but essentially all you want to do is have the oats soak up the milk and then have the protein powder in there for some goodness. So I'm not gonna eat this whole thing. This would be a major carb bomb for my morning. So I'm gonna weigh this out, grab a bowl, and take out what I would believe would be a serving. We'll see. All right, so now I got my bowl here. Got my trusty spoon. So if you've never used a food scale, the cool thing about this is I'm gonna know exactly how much I'm eating based on the scale. But I'm gonna show you how it works real quick. You turn it on. You can place your container on here. I can place the empty one, but I'm going to remove the food out of the container into this one. So we'll just subtract a negative number from this container to know what we're eating in this container. So when you put it here, there's usually gonna be a weight. This would be a positive 338 grams. So because we've already zeroed out the scale, it's gonna now set it at 0. And then we're going to take out what I would consider a serving. I'll probably do maybe like a third of the container here. It's a nice texture. So as I would take out the food, you can see the scale subtracting whatever I take out. So I'll probably do a good 75 grams. Okay, now we're at about 70. This is the fun, tricky part. We're trying to get it perfect. Boom, we did it, y'all. So now we have our serving of protein overnight oats. Now, mind you, depending on your goals, you can eat way more than this. I'm trying to lose weight, cut down on the carbs, especially the sugar. So this is gonna be good enough for me. Let's throw this back in the fridge. I'm learning as I'm doing all of this to make breakfast easy, make cooking convenient, trying to implement meal prep into the lifestyle as well. Now, for many of you, you may not like oatmeals in the morning or oatmeal in general. So you may want to prepare if you're a person who likes, sausage and eggs or even breakfast sandwiches or things like that. It's good to prepare it in the morning so you can just have it ready for you and don't got to worry about cooking or even thinking about what to eat. You already know it's ready to go. Try to make your home a diet grocery store, if that makes sense. So use your pantry as the shelves of your grocery store. Use your refrigerator as your produce section, and even your freezer as maybe your meats and cold cut section if you're into that. Just try to make getting healthy, getting fit, and knowing what you're eating super simple and convenient for yourself. Now let's get into this oatmeal. All right. So, I'm not a big fan of oatmeal. I'm not a big fan of eating anything sweet in the morning either, but let's give this a go. I'm a big fan of cheesecake, but of course as a dessert. But if I can replace real cheesecake with this as a healthier option, based on if I like it or not, we can tweak the recipe for my goals and keep this as part of my little lexicon of meals. So let's get to it. Okay, I like this. So one tip I did notice when I was looking up the different recipes, they said to use instant oats because their I guess gluten has been broken down a little further in the processing, so they absorb the milk or whatever water, almond milk or soy milk you're using, right? So the texture, it still has that of regular oatmeal, but it's still a bit cold. So it kind of has the texture of, I would say, a cold pudding or ice cream kind of. Now, you can probably get crazy with the flavors. I've seen some recipes use Greek yogurt, so it probably adds a nice sour brightness to the flavor. But for me, I prefer more, I guess, fattier texture to it. So I think what I'll tweak with this is I'll use low-fat milk for this and keep it, probably fat-free milk for this, and then keep the sugar-free cheesecake, and then maybe throw in some fruit to make it a little bit sweeter. But this is great. I'm gonna actually keep this as more of a late night snack than breakfast, because in the morning I really want to get the high energy, real alkalinizing, good foods in there. Typically I would have like maybe a lemon ginger shot or something like that, but you know, I wanted to check this recipe out. This is the first time I tried it. So the next thing I'll be working on with this recipe is seeing what kinds of varieties I can come up with. I see people do things like chia seeds, chocolate, and just various fruits. But I think I can think of something a little more unique as far as maybe putting a little more cultural spin on the breakfast. So let's see what I come up with. But let me know in the comments if you would try this. This is pretty good to me. I would say this is more like a protein pudding, high carb protein pudding. So if you do want to make this for yourself, just remember this is going to be more of a carb source than a protein source. It should be pretty high in fat. But as I tweak the recipe and come up with an official, you know, my own version of this, I definitely have the macros and ingredients all mapped out for you so you can log this in MyFitnessPal. But like I said, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you will be trying this. Peace.